Hey, Europeans, man, I love y'all, man, but y'all acting like y'all forgot what the Moors taught y'all. Man, y'all's in that black plague about to die out back in the 900s.
Well, who taught y'all?
The Moors.
Oh, the Moors.
They was about to die out in Europe. Go look this up, the black plague. They was about to be gone. Then the Moors said, hey, look, move your chickens outside. You can't be sleeping with your chickens and your cattle and shit. Right. Put your cattle over there and your chickens over there. Cause that's how we got chicken pox. White folks in Europe sleeping with their fucking chickens.
Don't reuse this water.
Don't reuse the water. And once you bathe in it, throw it out, get some more.
Yeah.
They said, here's some rubbing alcohol. We brought this rubbing alcohol from West Africa. Here's some shit that you pour this shit on your wounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's some soap. We brought this shit from West Africa. Wash your goddamn hands.
And eat some of these leaves, man.
And eat some of these leaves and shit. You know what I mean? Just because y'all tried to wipe them out of history, man, I understand. You conquered them. You got them out. I understand wiping the history out. But don't wipe out the principles. Wash your ass. Goddamn time we can get. What up, y'all? We in this motherfucker now. I thought we've been on. People been watching on Facebook Live. Thank y'all for being patient. Not hearing no background sound and shit. We are here live on Hotep Ish. We got a lot of intelligent ish talk to talk today about politricks, coronavirus, and all kind of other stuff. The motherfucker pointing in the camera right now for you right now. He's here, my Westchester High School classmate, a decade apart.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mike Robertson.
What up, the one, bro?
No, that always trips me out. You know what I mean?
Up, man?
Because, you know, the culture of Westchester was still the same for the most part. It's changing now. But for our generation, you know, we was a decade apart. You know, the culture was for the most part the same.
Right, what we was about and everything. Yeah.
Best dressed, best looking women.
Right.
Period.
Leadership.
Yes.
Trendsetters.
And on the phone, I got somebody who went to the Westchester equivalent in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Willow Ridge High School. Clap it up or listen up to Larry Goodwell.
What up, y'all? What up, Mike?
What up, Larry?
Hey, Larry had been in L.A. How long were you in L.A. before I took you to that Westchester picnic?
Man, probably a year.
That was 2009, because I don't know if you remember the 2009 Westchester picnic, the one at the Lagoon.
Ooh, I was there.
Larry had been here. He hadn't been in L.A. that long. And the people he was kicking it with, good people, but for the most part, they ain't really from here like that either. They be in the Hollywood scene.
Yeah.
And Larry's on some top-level Oscar A-list type parties and everything.
But it ain't that.
But he was, you know, so he wasn't really sure what L.A. was about till he went to the Westchester weekend.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry, tell him about that Westchester weekend real quick.
Man, but that's one of the best weekends I've ever had when I was in L.A., man. It was great to see all that blackness in the lagoon. I had never been to a fucking lagoon. It's just full of black folks. Man, I didn't know what the fucking lagoon was. I thought that shit was just a movie in a movie.
Man.
But y'all know, it was a great weekend, man. That was a great weekend.
Because it was like, you know, because it's one of those things where people don't understand that L.A. is a real city.
Right.
They think it's Hollywood. And, you know, in L.A., we got a culture about us that's just different. You know what I mean? It's a lot of love here. Even
it's
people
a lot
want to talk,
of love, man.
People want to talk about the gang stuff. The gang stuff was something that was imposed on us, and that was carried out by young people that were, you know, before their time. You know, that's just a part of L.A. culture. L.A. culture is very loving and respectful too.
Even within the gang culture, it's just love, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even in the gang, cause for me, I was a little fat kid that hooped, so they never fucked with me.
Right.
Oh, he don't bang.
Hey, man.
You know, it's just a thing that, you know, we're gonna have to talk about more. You know what I mean, and really point out as a people, because we hear a lot of the bad things that go on. You know, but we don't hear too much about the love and the unity that goes on within society.
We really got this thing too, where if you don't see people for many years, 10, 20 years, it's still love. You know?
Yeah, we do. Man. But we got a lot of shit going on, man. What's going on in Houston over there, Larry? What's going on with you?
Man, same old same, man. People, all the damn Purell and water is gone from the stores. So people are panicking about this.
That coronavirus. Yeah. Let's get into that first, because I was going to put that in. Let's talk about that. People are getting out of their fucking mind over this coronavirus. You know what I mean? It's like, My wife, she went to Costco, and it was like a line around the door, like all the Lysol was gone.
Man, think if you invented the little hand sanitizer type shit and sold your formula and shit. You know them nigga that invented it ain't Purell and shit. You know what I mean? They getting paid off that shit right now around the world.
And people, this is what I don't understand why people are so scared of. People always, every year and a half or 2 years, it's a new epidemic. I started paying attention to this in the late 80s because that's when I was a little kid over the African bees. I thought one day these African bees was going to come and fuck me up. I was like, oh, them bees going to kick my ass. And
Army ants and
hell
shit.
Yeah, I was scared as shit. And then that didn't happen. And then they said, okay, we got the mad cow disease. And like, niggas wasn't eating beef no more.
Yeah.
Because the mad cow. Then they had the whooping cough. You cough so much you can't stop coughing.
Right.
And then it's like, I noticed over the years, it's like, okay, then it was the bird flu. And then it was the swine flu. And then it was SARS. And then it was the Africanized bees again.
Hey, them SARS had niggas with masks on and shit. I remember that.
And I remember that because that was 1999, the year I went to prom. Because we went to after prom in this spot in Koreatown, and niggas was real scared.
Like it's a SARS.
True story. And so I just noticed, man, it's like every couple of years it's something new. I got a question for the people who are scared. Do you know anyone personally that's been affected by any of the things I just listed?
Right.
Listed.
Not one.
Never.
So,
Never.
It is nothing. They said it's 4,000 confirmed deaths from the coronavirus. Let's say
Is that worldwide?
Worldwide.
Okay.
Let's say, yeah, worldwide. That's less than a percentage of Inglewood. But,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But let's say that's worldwide. And 4,000 people have died so far. Let's say they lowballing that. Let's multiply that times 10. Let's say they're lowballing that. Let's say 40,000 people died, and that's the real number. Okay. Do you know what number? It's 7 billion people on Earth. Do you know what number we have to reach to get to 1% of the Earth population?
Right.
Do you know the number? Let me give you the number. If it's 7 billion people plus some, you have to meet 70 million people will have to die.
Right.
For it to reach 1% of the Earth's population. And we dealing with a low ball, 4,000 dead, high ball, 40,000.
Look, they're talking about it's 70 people in the U.S. with this shit. If you find yourself around one of them motherfuckers, you a loser, man.
Man.
You are a loser.
If you die because you didn't wash your hands, then damn it, you deserve to die.
Yeah.
Hey, I agree with that. That's a new man law because I'm tired of going to the bathrooms, seeing these white dudes take a shower, take a shit. I mean, take a piss and then walk right out. And then the minute you see him getting your Uber, they be the first one want to shake your hand.
Man.
Like, nah, nigga, I ain't touching your dick dust.
Your dick dust. Hell no.
I mean, if you notice, black people ain't really getting affected by the coronavirus.
Well, I want to see the numbers on that, man. Are there any numbers? Can we identify who these 70 people are? Are any of them black? To me, they would show the black face.
If it was a black face, they show it. That's how you know that by default.
Yeah, true. Looks like a black disease.
If it was us, man, it'd be front and center on the camera like they do with the trans rights and everything else. If it was us,
man.
So we know it ain't us. And then they said, okay, it's 3 confirmed cases in Africa. Well, 2 of them are Chinese, and 1 of them is an Italian. So the 3 places it is in Africa ain't even by Africans. On opposite sides of the largest continent on the planet.
Hell yeah.
They talking about it as if Africa's the size of Alabama. Like,
Right.
You know how big that place is?
In the city of Africa.
Right on Earth?
You got like 2 whole United States between Nigeria and Egypt.
Yeah. And the third one on the bottom, nigga.
Yeah, man, so that's the shit going
For real.
on. People, don't be worried about no goddamn coronavirus.
I mean, I'm going to take the proper precautions and shit.
Wash your hands.
And I'm gonna be checking motherfuckers around me, making sure nobody's eyes look runny and ain't nobody sneezing and coughing. I'm gonna do that like I do with the flu around motherfuckers.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, and keep the hand sanitizer on deck.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna step up my hand washing a little taste, man. Like they say, you supposed to wash as long as it takes to sing "Happy Birthday." That's like your time if you washing your hands that
thoroughly.
Which one? The regular version or the Stevie Wonder
I don't
version?
know. Depend. I guess it depends on what you've been fucking with.
Hey,
Okay.
man, 'cause my thing is this: it just overall reinforces good hygiene, which we should have anyway.
Yes.
You know what I mean? These people, hey, Europeans, man, I love y'all, man, but y'all acting like y'all forgot what the Moors taught y'all. Man, y'all's in that black plague about to die out back in the 900s.
Well, who taught you?
The Moors.
Oh, the Moors.
They was about to die out in Europe. Go look this up, the Black Plague. They was about to be gone. Then the Moors said, hey, look, move your chickens outside. You can't be sleeping with your chickens and your cattle and shit.
Right.
Put your cattle over there and your chickens over there. Cause that's how we got chicken pox. White folks in Europe sleeping with their fucking chickens.
Don't reuse this water.
Don't reuse the water. And once you bathe in it, throw it out, get some more.
Yeah.
They said, here's some rubbing alcohol. We brought this rubbing alcohol from West Africa. Here's some shit that you pour this shit on your wounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's some soap. We brought this shit from West Africa. Wash your goddamn hands.
And eat some of these leaves, man.
And eat some of these leaves and shit. You know what I mean? Just because y'all tried to wipe them out of history, man, I understand. You conquered them. You got them out. I understand wiping the history out. But don't wipe out the principles. Wash your ass. That's all I'm saying. It won't be no goddamn coronaviruses getting spread around this bitch.
Man, I'm not taking no necessary precautions. It's business as usual. I ain't doing nothing differently. Now I'm not gonna smoke with any no new people. Now that's one thing I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna smoke with any new people.
You can't do that.
I don't care how racist. Don't care how racist it sounds. I've never smoked with an Asian person. Not gonna start now. I'm just gonna. It's business as usual for me.
I smoked with a few Asian people at the club back in the day. They be having a good ass weed, but I'm going back to the turf market. I'm not buying no weed from them motherfuckers.
I feel you though, Larry, man. I really do,
point.
man. You gotta just keep it normal, and definitely you can't be smoking with motherfuckers you don't know, because people want to act like the dude that rolled the blunt and licked all on it and all that, like his saliva ain't a part of the experience, bro. It's there, man. And it don't all get burnt up, man, in the vapors and shit.
Man, it don't. And that's the thing, man.
Be careful, man. You don't want to catch it from a blunt. That'll be the worst.
Yeah. Let's get into this election shit.
Oh, man.
Man. So, we had the Super Tuesday. That's what they call it. Where they're going to find out who's going to be the nominee for the Democratic Party. You have you had everybody basically drop out, you know. And it looks like the two people that's left is Bernie and Biden. You had Littlefoot drop out, Bloomberg. This motherfucker spent almost $750 million in like 3 months.
Hey man, tax write-off.
To lose. And you know what the crazy part about him spending $750 million? That's like you and I going and said, okay, we're going to step it up tonight and go eat it at a steakhouse instead of the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
It hit harder than other meals.
Yeah.
But you got it.
But that's it. That's a good analogy. That's it.
We gonna go to Mr. Childs tonight, but I got it.
But look, he got it, but it's tax deductible though.
Yes.
It's an expense, right? That he needs. He needs to do this.
You know why I'm glad? You know why I'm glad he out? You know what I mean? First, because it's because his head is shaped like a potato. If you look at Bloomberg's head, he looks like a rotten potato.
Damn.
And he's like 5'1" with dice-sized feet. This motherfucker shops at the Baby Gap for suits. Like, he shops at Baby Brooks Brothers for the suits. And he a stop and frisk freak.
Yep.
Can you imagine if that motherfucker became president, stop and frisk would be the norm?
Man.
If you notice.
Nigga, eyes look like tater tots, nigga.
That motherfucker. And then who else we had drop out? We had Liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, Native American, white, Elizabeth Warren drop out. Good, because she's whatever you need her to be, she can be. She got in college by saying she's a Native American. She was Republican most of her life, and then became Democrat when she realized that motherfuckers wasn't hearing the goddamn thing she said.
You know what's the trip?
What?
I voted for
her. You did?
Yeah.
I liked her when she first came out.
I did too.
Because when she first came out in 2009, when she first got on the national scale
Mm-hmm.
level in 2009, that's when the economy was collapsed, and she was talking about fighting the banks and fighting the banks and fighting the banks. She got put on and didn't do a goddamn thing about the banks. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay. And then she claimed Native American, so it was like, out of the field, if you gonna vote, I understand why you would vote for her. I understand it. I'm not against it.
Yeah, man.
I didn't like the bitch.
I don't see, the thing is, I didn't like any of them, man. None of them.
Yeah.
I didn't care about any of them. I wanted to exercise my right, and then I also wanted to participate, man. And I'm of the feeling that what we have not seen yet is a woman be president. That's what we have not seen. Everything else that everybody else saying, man, we done seen it all, man, a million times. So that's the reason I looked at it like that. And even when I was clicking the button, I knew she wasn't gonna win.
Yeah.
I knew she wasn't. So I don't know, man, but I did it though.
Yep. Wendell Jing Rochester in the chat room says, "Fuck them all." I feel you, brother.
Yep.
And then we had Larry's favorite candidate, Pete Booty Judge, drop out.
Booty ketchup.
But I didn't I don't know anything about him, and I refuse to research him because of his fucking last name. I ain't want to look up shit. I don't know shit about him, but I can't pronounce his last name, so I wasn't gonna vote for him.
So you taking an L, huh?
Motherfucker's name was Booty Judge or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah.
Tom
man.
Stoyer dropped out 2020. He spent $250 million.
Who?
Tom Stoyer. Yeah, exactly. Tom Sawyer, whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh, that other dude. Yeah.
He wasn't talking to black people, so I don't give a shit. And so now,
Who you think was talking to black people the most?
nobody.
The most, though.
The most was Marianne Williamson back when the shit first opened up. Her.
Oh, that homegirl, yeah.
She said, okay, $100 billion for reparations, which was not the number is closer to 16 trillion,
But at least.
she said something.
Right.
So she was talking the most. The rest of them talked at black people. Look, let me break it down to you guys. This is what the Democrats do and how they get black people. And this is how the Liberal Party does overall. They start you talking about a black issue, a black problem.
Right.
In mass incarceration, poverty, when they talk about black education gap and the wealth gap.
Right.
They'll talk about these things that black people are affected by. And they'll say black people get pulled over most by the police, black people are most convicted, black people are first fired, last hired, first fired. And then my solution is going to be for all minorities to get this new public program. My solution is going to be for everyone to get this business. And that's where we always get the trick back thrown into us as black people that we starting to catch on to that we didn't catch on to for a long time. They identify a problem that's exclusive to us and give a solution to everybody. But at the same time, those other groups get things only for them that don't come back to black people. And there's where the Democrats fuck us over. So yes, on the surface level, they'll be talking about black people. But when they sell you a solution, it ain't got a damn thing to do with black people. How do we know this? We look at civil rights and all the numbers that came up after that. Like I talked about in the show last month. Civil rights legislation ended up being for everybody. And then look what happened. Every time you see a handicapped parking stall, that was money black people fought for, but it went to handicapped people. When every time you see a women's sport, Title IX, that money is for black people because it went to disadvantaged groups, which are called women. You know what I mean? So when it comes to everything that we've ever fought for, it's always been diluted and the benefits spread around while we bear the brunt of all the things that brought about that civil rights change. And that right there is my issue with the Democratic Party. They still have black society under the benign neglect policy. I would love for you guys to look that up, the benign neglect policy. And that's a 7-page document. You can read that shit real fast. And it basically talks about we're going to give black people attention, but we're not going to promise them anything. Why did that come about? In 1968, there was something called the Kerner Commission Report. And in the Kerner Commission Report, they were asking, why all these black people rioting? Because through the 60s, yeah, we shall overcome what will happen on TV. But what was really going on was this place was getting set on fire. Chicago, Florida. It was shooting, people shooting at the police all through Florida and Miami. Chicago, New York, L.A.
Right? Say, don't leave out L.A.
Yeah, L.A. You know, it was hot here. And the Kerner Commission report asked, why are we having all of these riots throughout the 60s in all these black towns? And the conclusion was, well, with civil rights passed in 1964, we promised black people all of these things. We had no plan on giving them. So since they're not getting these benefits, basically white supremacy is the reason why these black people are acting a fool. So the answer to that was benign neglect. We'll bring in filtered black crowds. We're gonna filter who comes in. Everybody ain't gonna get up in this motherfucker. We're gonna have to know who you are. You know what I mean? And then we're going to give attention to their problems, but we're not going to promise them any solutions. Because if we promise these niggas something, they're gonna expect it, and we know good in the hell well we ain't giving them shit. So we'll come around to these controlled audiences, we'll give lip service, but we're not gonna promise them anything. And then in the report, look me up, goddammit, if you think I'm lying. Kerner Commission report. In the report, it says we're going to give emphasis to other groups. We have new Latino and Asian immigrants coming into the country. We're going to come up with this term minority. And when we use the term minority, it's going to be where we give these new groups to the country the benefit, while black people think they're included. Why did I bring that up? Because in 2016, when we had, remember them WikiLeaks and all them hacked emails that was coming out?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In 2016, there were hacked emails. Look it up, goddammit. Hillary Clinton, DNC, the top of the DNC said, when we go to these black people, we're going to speak to Black Lives Matter people with preordained questions, and we're going to give lip service to their problems, but we're not going to give them any solutions. That was from the head of the DNC just 4 years ago. So 60 years apart, 1968 to 2016, we go from a report that we got into it being reinforced today, and the Democrats, based on their actions, seem to be in 2020 still following that benign neglect report. Larry, I want to hear what you guys say about this voting process, and then we're going to get back to you, Mike.
Well, I just looked at the benign, the benign neglect, and it was established exactly 4 years before I was born. I said January 16th, 1970. That's crazy. I was looking at it before, but I didn't read it in its entirety. I'm looking at it now, and I just saw the date. So anyway, that didn't have shit to do with what you asked me. You asked me about this whole election.
Yeah. And
man,
whatever you freestyle, whatever you want to say about it.
Man, no. What I was gonna say, man, fuck all these candidates, man. This is what I'm serious. Like, fuck all of them. I wasn't leaning towards none of them. Fuck all of them. And what really upsets me is black people's allegiance to Joe Biden because he was Obama's vice president. Like, we gotta vote for Joe because it's a chance he might ask Michelle Obama to run with him, and we're right back in the door. Man, fuck all these candidates. I don't care who's listening. Fuck you for voting for them. And fuck you for trying to shame us for not voting for them.
Damn.
Hey.
That covers it.
That covers it, because that's the thing. Because I know Mike votes, and I would never shame someone for voting. I used to vote all the time. I still vote. I voted in this past. I voted for Measure R. You know what I mean? There's a lot of local shit that need to happen here in the city.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I don't. That's the whole thing, having that respect. You know what I mean? I think that's where people lose it. And that's why I want you to come down, Mike. 'Cause I know me and Mike, we see things, you know, as my dog, we see things slightly different. Mm-hmm. But we can disagree and still maintain a level of respect and love.
Well, let me tell you about voting for me, right? I used to not vote. Like, not even at all, right?
Okay.
So when I turned 18, that was in 1986.
Okay.
All right? So when Bush Senior first
Reagan
ran,
shit.
I didn't vote. Any primary, anything that ever happened, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
never
yeah.
even paid attention. I just really, honestly, I was like what Larry's saying right now. Fuck everybody. I didn't care about any of them. I just didn't even care, man,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
feel like it mattered, right?
Yeah.
So when it came to Bush Senior running, I didn't vote. When it came to Clinton running, right, I didn't vote, even though I wanted to vote for him. When it came down to voting day,
Yeah.
man, I literally missed the whole day.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
how much I was caring about it, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't care. When Clinton won the second time was the first time that I voted.
Okay.
When he went, that was my first time voting for anything. And then, man, from there, I just tried to make it a practice. Most times, really every time except for voting for Obama, because I was a proud voter for Obama, I didn't care about it ever, man, about any of the people, man, any of the times, man. Never mattered. I just look at one thing. Who's the smartest? Who do I think is the smartest? And who do I think is a rational thinker, even if they don't believe what I believe? That's what I try to go by, because I don't trust any of them.
That's fair.
I don't trust any of them. I don't like any of them. None of them speak for
yeah,
me.
yeah,
I'm in
yeah,
agreement.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
They don't
yeah.
speak for me, but I just want,
Makes sense.
and motherfuckers gotta run our shit, so I just wanted to be somebody smart and competent, man. That's really what I go by.
Here's how I see it, because I turned 18 in the year 2000. I mean, in the year 1999, and my first election was the 2000 election, Bush versus Gore. I've literally voted in every election since I've been able to vote, including the off elections every 2 years. I don't wait. I've never waited for the general election.
Right.
And I've had an evolution. When I was younger, I really believed in the hype. I bought the hype. You know what I mean? I voted Democrat, and I did it out of, because, you know, from my first 2 times voting, 2000, 2002, I was voting because my ancestors, you know, died to vote. That shit. And I
Right.
felt proud to vote. Like,
Right.
yes, I voted. And for you black people that didn't vote, you can't say anything because you didn't participate in your civic duty, ass nigga. That's who I was.
Right.
You feel me? And then my eyes started to go. I took a political science class in college, and then in that political science class in 2003, you basically find out that, you know, the whole point of having 3 branches of government is so nothing changes. Like, the system was designed so nothing changes. Then you found out what the electoral college really is and how it really works, and the reason why it was created was just in case these people fuck up, we still gonna get our guy.
Look, that's why I said the only thing that we've never seen is a lady, bro.
And
That's the only thing we've never seen.
And let
it
me
stays the same.
And let me qualify it a little more. So I'm just trying to, you know, get there with like how I see it. You know what I mean? And so we had that we had that going on. So I saw that, and then in 2004, I saw Bush wasn't shit. So I'm thinking, okay, Democrats, we got this motherfucker. We gonna get this dumb motherfucker out of office. People people looking at Trump now. Do people forget George Bush too? How crazy and silly looking he was?
No, I don't.
The buildings fell down on 9/11, and he kept reading children's stories. You know what I mean?
Well,
We had a
'cause he was
whole
in
ass movie that came out talking about that right before the election, and then he couldn't even talk. He had that dumb smirk, and He didn't really know what was going on. So I thought, we got to get him out of there. And John Kerry ran the weakest campaign I had ever seen. And I realized, man, the Democrats are a bunch of punks. So I unregistered as a Democrat and I became independent. You know what I mean? I still be like, okay, cool, I'm independent, but I'm still participating in my civic duty. Mind you already heard all this stuff about political science, about, you know, the electoral college, how we don't have a chance, and how our best, you know, is local elections. And I'm on that, but then Obama came. And it was like, man, I got swept up in the glory of Obama 2008, 2012. I'm voting for this, what I think is an American black man. I didn't know that he was raised in Indonesia, in Hawaii, and Kansas. And when he did come to the United States and worked at that law firm with Michelle Obama, their job was to get black folks to sell their homes. That's the community organizing that he did. You know the people that be going around buy a house now? He worked for one of them law firms. So now we wonder why Chicago's getting gentrified heavy. Hello, somebody helped start it. You feel me? So, then I looked at it and I saw, man, I voted for Obama. Black people, I realized, you know, as far as voting, you're supposed to get something from it. And I knew he wasn't gonna give us reparations. I knew that shit wasn't gonna happen. You mean, I knew a lot of overt things he couldn't do because he was, quote unquote, the first black president, which he really wasn't. It was five black presidents before him. We get into that on another show.
First one claiming black.
Yeah, first one claiming, but then those other ones are more black because at least their parents was born here, you know? And so the black side of their family at least was born here. So, you know, I saw that Trayvon Martin happened, Eric Garner happened, all these black people getting killed, and we can't get no kind of justice. Then I really realized, like, you know what? If the Democrats ain't gonna give us absolutely nothing, I mean, at the bare minimum, justice for children getting killed like they would do a dog, why am I here? And then I went back to my old political science books. And then I read Dr. Claude Anderson, Black Labor, White Wealth, and Powernomics. And Dr. Claude Anderson opened my eyes. He talked about using your vote as leverage. How, first of all, the vote, it can be a powerful tool when used properly. But for the most part, we as a people don't really even study the machine that it is. I try to get people to pick up just basic political science books so we at least understand what we're doing when we do it. You know what I mean? And we don't want to do that. And to me, that is the issue. I think as black people, we smart. We very smart. We just fuck up because we don't be getting the information. I think if we got the information and we educated ourselves, we do this shit and we do it right. Like we do everything else. We fuck everything else out right. But so far we vote out of tradition and pride and love. Too many of us do that. And I think that right there is the problem.
I'm gonna tell you another issue that we have, and I'm gonna say it. A lot of us are afraid to admit that our ancestors weren't perfect, and a lot of the stuff they did, and I'm not disrespected. I'm grateful for every last one of them. God damn it! If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be holding this $1,000 iPhone doing a fucking podcast. So I'm grateful for all the sacrifices. But nobody's perfect, and nobody wants to admit that a lot of stuff they did fucked up the future. It really did. Like a lot of shit that they rolled for fucked. I mean, it did. Integration fucked us. That fucked us. Wanting to be a part of the system and vote and live my life just like a white person, it fucked us because they weren't gonna never let us be equal to them. It don't. Okay, we'll integrate, but you niggas are still niggas.
But you can look back and say it at the time. They was fishing, man. Every generation was thinking like, okay, if we just do this. And then the next generation, if we just do this, it's easy to look back and be like, nigga, they was never going to give you nothing. But at that time...
Here's how to get that. Well, I heard both of you guys say it. This is what I mean by this one. But we do have to look back because when we look back, it has to be a non-emotional event. We have to look back and give a true systems analysis. Any company that is successful, any Fortune 500 company, any successfully run business, they do something called a SWOT analysis every now and again, where they analyze every part of the company, up, down, top to bottom, in recent history, and it gives an analysis of where we should go in the future. As a culture, we looking back on the past and saying they messed up isn't a criticism on them. It's something that we are to learn from and change.
That's right.
It's and do it fast. And like what Larry said, it's they fell for a lot of bullshit, and it wasn't them. Like when you go back and really look in the 50s, they weren't when they were talking integration, they weren't saying necessarily we want to be white. What they were saying was we want equal access to resources, and you guys got the resources we don't. So basically, they thought that integrating would get us equal resources. Like, I'll now have what you have. That's basically what they really wanted. Yeah. And really, it was the
logical thinking,
and
at
it was
the time,
the NAACP and a lot of their internal agents who shifted the conversation to this integration talk, because a lot of people just was like, just send some money our way to our neighborhoods and we good. You know what I mean? And so, but at the end of the day, there are always going to be different factions in any kind of a movement. Our job now is to look back and say, okay, what they did right here, that was good. Let's keep that. What they did over here, no, that shit didn't work.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, my ancestors, okay, they fought for the right to vote. All right, cool, great. But you know what? They also didn't understand the full process of voting. If you read the book Miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson talks about in the 1920s, there was legislation in the Congress to teach political science and civics in black schools. And it was a resounding no. Because it said these black people learn civics and political science and what this is about. They're going to basically use that shit to their advantage and fuck us up. So it's in our best interest that these Negroes don't know about the whole political process. So when they voted, what they're saying is, we want our voice to be heard. That's what they were saying. They didn't understand, how the system's going to put up people in front of you who may even look like you, but they're going to have their agenda. Right. They didn't know a lot of these things.
That's right.
We do now.
That's right.
So for us now in 2020 to be like, let's still just do it anyway, blindly, that's our fault. I'm not blaming them. That's our fault. Now, if we say, okay, let's take what they did and modify it. Let's say, okay, we got the right to vote now. Now let's study up on how to use this right the right way. Because guess what? The Asians don't vote. But they passed everybody up, including the white boy, economically. White Asians are the ones gentrifying Marina del Rey and Irvine, building their own fucking cities, Alhambra and all these places, because they use powernomics principles, things that Dr. Claude Anderson talked about, and they relied on self. And then now that they have the money, they're buying city councils. They bought the city of Arcadia. You know what I mean? They buying these places up. And they're buying the legislations to go along with them, so it don't matter who run. Are you in office? Okay, here's some money. Do my bidding. You know what I mean? We got to have a combination. Because as a culture, we used to do a lot of these. We had a community. Let's keep what we had as far as our community that used to once work before the civil rights movement. Let's keep a lot of those principles, because we have the economic principles. We've lived them. We've done them. We've built these towns. We built this stuff. But now we have to learn, okay, now that we have the power to vote and the power to have economic clout, let's use our economy that we built, Puffy, Jay-Z, Oprah, the people that we love to worship. Now let's start buying some politicians. Because that's what everybody else does. People don't necessarily get these motherfuckers buy politicians. People don't understand. The reason why Harvey Weinstein wasn't getting charged for a long time in New York is because his attorney, Cy Vance, was putting money up on the people running for office. That's why. On top of the color. They have color, but they also know the importance of paying for protection. The mafia talked about that with the politicians. You know what I mean? That's the part that we missed. So now when we go back and build our next Black Wall Street, we now know to come with our political arm intact and in hand. Now we're not doing it out of emotion. We're doing it intelligently. Anytime black people act intelligently, we win. Every fucking time. And that's what I'm
going to tell you what.
Go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what's not intelligent is this whole thought process of anybody but Trump.
Oh my God.
Anybody but Trump. I've seen that shit so many times. Like, man, I got accused of being a black racist because somebody told me, look, vote for anybody but Trump. I'm like, okay, well, tell me exactly what has Trump done to black people? What has he done to us?
I'll tell you what hasn't happened under Trump's office. I ain't seen no Walter Scotts. I ain't seen no Eric Garners. I ain't seen none of that. He ain't like Trump has been. Remember when I?
What do you mean? You ain't seeing niggas getting killed by police? That's what you're saying.
The story, the injustice of hell. Matter of fact, Amber Geiger, even though she only got 10 years, at least the bitch went to jail. When we had our guy in office, none of this justice getting served. I'm not giving Trump credit for the justice. What I'm saying is, when we had our guy, we weren't getting it. So I'm saying is, we don't win either way. Black people.
But it doesn't come from the president, bro. It comes from people in grassroots, man. Everything happens at the local level, man.
I'm going to tell you what comes from the president. It does.
You don't have to be a president to make the change.
You don't have to.
No, you put the pressure on the president. You put the pressure on the president.
That is a straw argument. I'm talking about what happens within the context because look. This example I always use.
Go for it.
When Rodney King got his ass beat and L.A. got them off, them police officers off, the white man, George Bush, came in with his DA and filed federal charges.
Only because we rioted, though. Only because that shit was on the TV around the world for the first time in 30 years. That's the reason the pressure got put on him by the people, bro.
And he paid political. And we rioted after Freddie Gray got killed in Baltimore. They rioted. And what did President Obama say? Stop acting like thugs.
I mean, dog.
That's what happened. I'm not here to sensationalize
I can't speak on
shit.
that. Yeah.
I'm here to talk about what happened.
That did happen.
And so. President and people,
but the pressure get put on by the people, bro.
And you're right. And you know what? George Bush, the white president who did not like black people, who was a major architect behind the war on drugs,
had to do it.
You know what? No, he didn't have to do it.
Yes, he did, bro. He had to do it.
No, he didn't.
He had to do it.
Since when do anybody have to do anything for a black? Since when anybody ever had to do anything for black people?
It wasn't for us. It was for him. It was for his image.
No,
it was for his image.
You know what happened? You know what happened? Let's go back and talk history. 29 years ago.
Let's just talk about that. No.
I'm talking about that. You know what happened to George Bush? Go back and read Rush Limbaugh and the conservative pundits at that time. That's why he lost to Clinton. When he went ahead and filed those charges and put them white people in jail, his own. That's when I'm talking about his people, his pundits.
So what?
That's when Ross Perot came in and split the vote and gave the election to Clinton.
That's
George
what
Bush,
it is, bro. Ross
listen,
Perot.
George Bush paid a political price for sending them federal troops in. Let's
say you're right. I
am right.
But it was caused by the people, though, bro.
But what I'm saying is this:
it was caused by the people.
The people, when Trayvon Martin died, I was on Crenshaw when the people marched. When George Zimmerman got off, and the people shut down the 10 freeway. The people shut down the 110. They shut down Crenshaw. They shut down the 405. Obama said, "It's time to get some Indians some rights." When Freddie Gray died. Them kids left out of school.
What's the rights you're looking for, man? You're looking for equal treatment. That's not a right, bro.
You're not even listening to what I'm saying.
I'm asking you, what's the rights?
I want the same thing George Bush did. Send some federal troops down there and charge these motherfuckers.
He did that shit in Ferguson. Same shit, dude. Same shit. Got the motherfucker ousted in the same way. They did the same thing, bro.
That
same thing.
The police officers still walking. They didn't go to jail. The officers.
Rodney King police officers didn't go to jail.
The federal charges, yes, they did.
Where they at? What?
They spent some time in jail after the federal charges were filed.
Oh, that's some new shit for
Stacey Koon and them motherfuckers. Yes. So that's all I'm saying. What black president, give me what the white boy gave me. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And we didn't.
If you lived in Ferguson, you got that.
No, you did not get that because Darren Wilson's still walking. He didn't go to jail. Man. I don't care about a mark or symbolic. Oh, black people got a speech.
Bro. That's local.
I want the people to go to jail.
That's local.
What I'm saying is this. Well, President Bush to make sure it was national, so why couldn't the black guy do it?
He was pushed into a corner.
So was the black guy. He didn't respond.
He wasn't pushed into
he
a
was
corner.
pushed.
He was
riots.
not.
Yes, he was.
We're talking about Ferguson?
By his own voting
talking
base.
about Ferguson?
I'm talking about Ferguson and Baltimore and New York.
Yeah.
And Minnesota with because the riots happened in Minnesota with what the Philando Castile.
That's not the president's role, bro.
Well,
you know
Bush
it.
made it his role.
You know
it is his role.
It's not his role.
Kennedy made it his role. Kennedy brought in them federal troops when them black people was getting harassed in them schools. The president said, "Let me jump in." That's what I'm saying. The great president.
Were they jumping in though to take him to trial?
Through history.
But you're talking about the trial and going to jail.
No, I'm talking about.
Yes, you are. You're talking about.
I'm giving examples across fields. All you giving me is what someone can do.
I agree with all that. I agree with all that.
They can't do, and I'm telling you what they've done.
I agree with all that. And you telling me what the people can't do.
Bush.
You telling me what the people can't do.
I'm telling you what the people did, and the fact that President Obama didn't respond. He
the way
told
you wanted to.
When them kids in Baltimore rioted,
I don't think Obama is flawless,
thugs.
bro. I don't think he's flawless.
That's not the argument. Nobody's flawless.
What is the argument?
Jesus wasn't flawless.
What is the argument?
About flawless.
We don't know Jesus was real.
What's the argument is I want Obama to do what the white boy did.
Okay.
Send federal charges down when somebody kills a nigga. That's what I want.
Okay.
And if we can't get that, what good are you? That's my whole point. So
there's a lot of other things
as black people, we're 30% of the Democratic voter base, and we get nothing. You know what I mean?
We get nothing in this country. Period. It ain't
about
that.
Because we accept it. Because
exactly.
we say what?
We the people.
I'm gonna go back and vote anyway, even though nobody's talking to me. I'm gonna give you my vote anyway. I'm gonna reward you with your career aspirations of political office and for ignoring me. No, and when black people learn to stop,
well, I voted because I wanted a woman in there myself, but
and so and that's cool. But I'm saying I'm talking about the overwhelming majority of us. These conversations I have when I hear us talking about all this tradition shit, we got a lot of fucked up traditions that we need to check, and we got a lot of good ones that we need to keep. But we need to analyze which ones is good and which ones.
Voting works on the local, man. I know you agree with that.
I did. I voted for Measure R. I voted locally. I voted. I tried to vote.
That's how you can really influence.
I tried to vote out Gardenia's local city councilman Stephen Bradford because I saw him at the Gardena Jazz Festival cussing his assistant out. And then the minute he saw me, put on that big ass fake politician smile. Like, nigga, I saw you. You cussing your assistants out. I don't like people who cuss out the help. When I see people treat help a certain way,
me too.
I lose all respect for you.
Me too.
He was cussing that man out, and I saw everything. And then the minute Stephen Bradford saw me, he was like, "Hey, young fella, how you doing?" Fuck you, nigga. So I tried to vote him out. I think he still won.
Funny.
But thank you guys for listening to Hotep-ish, where we have that intelligent-ish talk. We're trying to just talk to you guys and talk about the situation. And me and Mike, that's my dog Larry's on the phone. We talk our shit, man, because this is the kind of stuff you're not going to get on mainstream TV. You got to come to the internet for the real thing.
Got to.
I want to get to one thing on Joe Biden, why I don't fuck with Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders. First of all, Bernie Sanders said
either
one.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders said reparations isn't feasible, but he voted for the 1994 crime bill, and so throwing black people in jail is feasible, but reparations for that mistake isn't. I have a problem with that. And then when it comes to Joe Biden is the motherfucker that...
I know. I mean, let's not move so quickly off of that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, because I agree with you on that. It's like, man, he act like he can't even entertain the idea.
Yeah.
Man. Like, what the fuck?
But you sign off on Jewish reparations and I have no issues with them getting that shit.
Else.
I ain't got no problem with nobody getting nothing.
Right.
But pay for your first crime, America.
He act like he can't talk about it, though, man. That's
he be rushing
ignorance
off.
in it, man. Yeah, like...
And then they be like, well, he was out there with King. Do you know how many goddamn informants King had around him?
Talk about it.
Who was out there?
Who was out there? There was so many people out there. And look, and then we got Joe Biden. I don't fuck with him because old Joe is the architect, the mastermind behind a lot of these drug laws. We forget the reason why crack cocaine was 100-to-1 disparity was because Joe Biden wrote that shit into law. If you're sitting a rock form of cocaine, You get a prison 100-to-1 sentence than if it's in a powder form, because we knew black people used the rock and the white people used the powder at the time. That was Joe Biden that wrote that shit into law. You know what I mean? And then it was Joe Biden who wrote the 1994 crime bill. And let me put you people up on game, because Joe Biden's going to win the nomination. The reason why he's going to win the nomination is because he's a Democrat. Bernie is an independent, caucusing as a Democrat, and the Democrats don't like that kind of shit, so they're going to rig the game no matter what the fuck y'all care about. They're going to rig it for Joe Biden.
Plus, Bernie be talking shit that ain't going to get done, man.
Yes.
And you got to be realistic about that. You got to be realistic, man. All these fucking ideas, man, you going to get one of them off. You ain't going to get all 15 of them off.
You ain't going to get all of them.
Just don't happen, bro.
And the Democrats, if you don't understand that simple thing, difference between Bernie being an independent, caucusing as a Democrat, and Joe Biden being a 50-year-old old Democrat, if you don't understand that nuance, you don't understand politics. But back to what I was saying about Joe Biden. He wrote the 1994 crime bill. It was something that you're going to hear from him in the general election. When he's asked about that, his retort is going to say, "Hey, look, it was the states that built that made all these draconian laws. Let's talk about why the states made those laws. Because in that 1994 crime bill, there was something called the Truth in Sentencing Act, whereas they had $13 billion in federal funds set aside for states who wrote in 3 strikes laws in their local states. If you write these laws in, we got $13 billion here for you to build these prisons so you can house these niggas." So yes, he's going to say, well, most of the people, they're in state prisons. Yes, they're in state prisons because you gave them money to build those prisons instead of putting that same $13 billion in education, in black business development, and the things that we know that can prevent people from going to prison. That's why I'm not fucking with Joe. Trump ain't really done shit. I know he ain't shit, but he hasn't done enough for me to reward Joe Biden for putting all these black people in jail, getting the presidency on. Not happening on my watch.
Oh, you saying Trump over Biden?
I'm saying Trump? I don't give a fuck, and
I'm
gonna let the country decide, and whatever the fuck they decide how to run their country.
I'm just wondering about you. You're saying are you undecided?
I'm not voting for president.
Oh, you're not voting.
I'm voting locally, voting states. President, I'm voting DeJuan Brown. And one more thing before I get out of here, because I like to always give solutions. Pick up the book Black Labor, White Wealth. Pick up the book Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. A lot of political solutions within those books that can help you understand more deeply of what I'm trying to get at and go on. Any closing thoughts for you, Larry, on the phone?
Yeah, vote locally and fuck these candidates.
What about you, Mike?
I say, I just say what he just said, man. That's just pretty much that pretty much captures it.
Yeah, that's it. Cause when it comes, we have to understand that as black people, since 1968, we have what Dr. Oba Tashaka calls, we've been facing the post-1968 hostile forces era. And what that is after we got our so-called quote-unquote civil rights, we've been dealt a blow. A lot of it, Lyndon Johnson said once I get this legislation, all the welfare programs, once I get that signed, I'm going to have these niggas in the Democratic Party hands for the next 60 years. And God damn it if he wasn't right. No, he said next 100 years. Because we've allowed, because our economy was destroyed when we integrated, and we didn't have the businesses we have for ourselves. We had to depend on the government for jobs, the government for incomes. Women who were single, you can now get this government housing, government welfare, as long as that man doesn't live in the home. You know what I mean? These things happen to us, and then these jobs, Detroit gets basically transferred to China. There are no more jobs that people were dependent upon.
And Mexico.
And Mexico and Canada and these other places. So the places that we were the man was able to provide in the 60s and the 50s and before that, he's no longer able to provide. And then when it comes to 70s, you have the war on drugs, who, if you look up, Nixon A. Goldwater said that we couldn't name it the war on black people, so we named it the war on drugs, because we couldn't come out and just say we having a war on black people. So they came up with the war on drugs, pumped that shit in our community, destabilized us even more, And these are a lot of things that we've been dealing with that we haven't acknowledged, because when we look at history, we always look at civil rights and stop it right there. and we don't study the era right after civil rights. And right after civil rights, a lot of damning things that happened to us that we have to now acknowledge as a people and take and see what it is and get back to the business of building, because our solution isn't going to come from voting. It's not going to come from politics. It's going to come from within.
Can I say something?
Say something real quick.
At the end of the day, too, man, when you really look at it and you trace it back to its origins, it's all about money, bro.
It's all about money, and it's all about
find a dollar at the end of the situation. It's always there.
We need to build our economies up individually, economically, and as a group. You know what I mean? And when we build ourselves individually, economically, and protect ourselves, you know, we on our way. But as a people, I like the way we headed. We headed in a good direction. We starting to question the bullshit, and we starting to see what it is. Anyway, my name is Dewan B. DewanB.com, Hotepish.com. And remember, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those who are willing to pick up game. I'm Dewan B. We out.